to like his private ladder accounts and the chat logs from those.
I would like to point out that HuK picked Abatha as his representative for this particular game, so we'll see how that one goes. DeMusliM picking the Marine seems reasonable, certainly.
Wait, who's Abatha? What?
You played the campaign, right?
No.
Oh God. Oh, right. Well, next time you speak to the one and only Stephen Bennell, you may wish to ask him who Abatha is. But
I get a Destiny rant. I like Destiny rants.
Yes, Abatha is... let's just say he's the most interesting character in the campaign. But there you go. Alright, here we go. Fruitland. It's the most colorful map with the strong colors mod on, which... you're going to drown in a vomitorium of color in this. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. So we are heading on into this one. It will, of course, be a best of 5 series between these two. And it is going to be entertaining one way or the other. So spawning to the southwest position. The man who most assuredly has no fear. The only scarecrow in existence that doesn't. And the Red Trunks are playing Protoss to the southwest of Fruitland. It is EG.HuK. Versus his opponent to the northeast position in the Blue Trunks playing Terran. The ever stoic. The immigrant, in fact. He came on over to the US and he was able to legally qualify for ShoutCraft America. He's stealing your gerbs. He is EG.DeMusliM.
I haven't actually seen either of these players play this matchup for quite some time, but I'd imagine DeMuslim's kind of been just a one-rack CC player since the beginning of time. I'd be really surprised if he's doing anything too aggressive early on. And TVP, like, oh, he is actually rallying to his gas, so he's going to start out with something besides one-rack CC. But really, any kind of early pressure right now, TVP, is so hard to pull off just because the strength of the Mothership Core. As is kind of what you ask any Terran about balance right now. They just complain about the Mothership Core and then Templar if it gets to the late game. So, I don't know. Yeah. I'm honestly kind of surprised. I figured he would just go with his normal fast expansion and try and play for a macro game. Because he has to be confident out macroing HuK. That's his forte and not at all HuK's.
Yes, unless it is some kind of special lemon build. Who knows?
Perhaps. Actually, that's kind of an interesting tactic, because I don't really think it's going to play into HuK's hands too much, but maybe it'll like freak DeMusliM out, and he tries to overcompensate and do something to gain control of the lemons, and then it's not going to pay off. That's something I never thought I'd say while casting StarCraft.
Kaldor and Wolf had similar problems, I believe, with the original GSTL. With Wolf eventually broke down and just started shouting about lemons. I think he had to be removed from the podium. It was a bit strange.
Oh, and pretty quick SCV scout, so maybe DeMusliM worried about HuK doing something for lemon control. He's not going to find anything too strange.
No.
Double gas, but only 2 probes on each assimilator, so could be set up for just a quick Nexus, as is pretty standard in PvT right now. And then the command center coming down from DeMusliM as well with a reactor, so very, very normal builds from both of them.
Certainly.
Nothing too fun, creative, cheesy coming out from HuK just yet.
How horribly disappointing.
He's actually chrono boosting out of Stalker, so he's going to look to harass at least a little bit.
Alright, out comes the Reaper, immediately finds itself a Zealot. It's going to start working on that one. It does take a little bit of time to really do anything. The Mothership Core's out, and of course the Stalker's on the way, so really this Reaper's not really going to get much accomplished, but it did get that initial scout, and is now, of course, going to have to leave. It worked that Zealot down pretty well. He might try and stab it in the back later, but I don't really see that doing too much. And in the meantime, HuK moving across the map with his Mothership Core, and wisely not trying to kill the lemons with it.
No, I think that would be a bit of a lost cause. He's going to go in and scout, see the factory coming up, and the Marine production. Actually, there's only going to be a couple of Marines around, so he might be able to harass with that Mothership Core a little bit if he wants to, along with the Stalker and Zealot in front. DeMusliM is actually pretty low on units. If he messes up, loses a Marine or 2, this could get pretty annoying pretty fast for him, but HuK is backing off with the rest of his units, so I suppose not. Oh, the Reaper actually sneaks into the main. He's going to get some probe harassment done here.
Yeah, working on it. I mean, just the fact that he forced... Oh, he even gets a probe out of it. This is nice and kind of unexpected, really. Stalker pops out and tries to deal with it. HuK is able to mic away the rest of the probes, but that was 4 probes off the mineral line for quite some time. The Reaper finally dies with the interception there from the Stalker, but with 1 dying as well, that Reaper has done its job. Got a really, really good scout off, and of course even done a little bit of annoying harassment damage.
Yeah, also forced out an additional Chrono Boost on the Gateway that HuK didn't really want to spend just to get that second Stalker out in time. And a quick Robo coming down here from HuK. Nothing too much from DeMusliM. He is going up to 3 racks, just producing a bunch of bio. Stim should be starting. It is Stim, so it's not going to be some kind of very quick combat shield timing or anything like that. But 3 racks, no factory, so no Starport harass. Pretty much every TVP recently I've seen out of a Korean player at least has been some sort of quick medevac harassment, trying to maneuver around the planetary nexus and just put some kind of pressure on the Protoss. Because if you're just going to attack up the front, they're just going to charge up that nexus and cast a few force fields. It's not going to accomplish anything. But DeMusliM actually going for 2 tech labs, so he's going to get combat shield and stim. Maybe try and catch HuK off guard and just barrel him down.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that we'd certainly want to see from him being kind of Marauder heavy, considering there's Immortals on the way, but you're right, there is this timing that can be hit here, and it lines up quite nicely. If we look at the Stim Pack and the Combat Shield's going to be finished a bit before it, but considering it was started second, there is this nasty little window where he's going to have a lot going on for him. I have to wonder if he suspects a Immortal heavy play from his opponent. The second one is already on the way here.
Yeah, Immortal heavy play, in my opinion, at least, PvT is pretty terrible. I think that's the biggest failing in San's PvT, actually. But for HuK here, it looks like it is going to be an Immortal all-in, or at least Immortal pressure, as he's adding on some gateways.
The Immortal is going to kill the lemons.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay. I can see that.
This is a lemon-based strategy here from HuK.
Actually, I don't remember if it was on the cast or not, but we were talking before about this map, and you were joking about him going quick Immortal just to kill off the lemons. Turn that into a rush.
I'm some kind of magical seer. Yeah, I'm not
Although
really sure how I managed.
Fair, you did say he was going to proxy the robo next to it and turn that into it, so a little bit off.
There is a pylon. There's a pylon going up. It could still happen.
Drop another robo, a second robo just to take out the lemons.
It's the new meta. It's the lemon-based meta. We never saw it coming.
Okay, well, here comes that timing. He is going to have stim. He's also getting concussive grenades behind it, but that's not going to play into the first attack. But 3 Immortals out here, plus the Nexus overcharge and a bunch of sentries. And DeMusliM has committed quite a bit to that. He's just now getting up his eBay and factory. Yeah. If this doesn't do anything, he's going to be behind.
Oh, he stims right in, though, and he's able to get past the force field and focus down. One Immortal, the second one is trying desperately to get away, does not, and eventually that is, of course, thrown back. He did take out 2 Immortals. He got away with maybe about half of his army there.
Yeah, taking out 2 Immortals, losing that. I think the big problem here is going to be the follow-up, because HuK is adding 2 more gateways. He's dropping pylons all over the map. He's moving out here. He's taking this as his opportunity to go in for the kill. And if you give HuK any sign of weakness, he's going to go and try and finish you off. That's just how he is as a player. And DeMusliM, his upgrades are really late. He only has the 1 bunker. He doesn't really have very many units. No medevacs anytime soon. No upgrades as well. Does have concussive grenades. And a big force field trap.
Wow, he snuck those in. He must have, he warped those in up to the top there and was able to flank and destroy that army. That's actually a beautiful move there by HuK. Very impressive. What HuK can do with gateway units is really a little bit terrifying sometimes.
Yeah, he's been making gateway timings work for the last, I think, more than 3 years now. So he has plenty of experience with them. But with only that 1 Immortal, 3 bunkers should be enough to keep him alive for now. He's actually going to go finish off the lemon in the meantime.
He doesn't even care what's going on with this game. This was his objective the entire time. I think that's all he cares about, yeah. He's getting nice memories of being back in the GOM booth. It's like, yeah, I'm playing GSTL right here. There it is. There is the sliced lemon, which can now be mined by a single probe, which can be a real pain, of course, if it gets intercepted and destroyed on the way back. But the entire lemon will be mined by that single probe, and it's going to go back and give 500 bonus minerals to the Protoss player, which is always nice.
Oh, okay. That wasn't too long. It looks like he's actually headed down to take out the second lemon as well.
Yeah, he is. The scouting factory is going to find out. It's 1,000 extra minerals and also full map control, so I guess you can't really complain.
Well, he's actually gone 2 base, 8 gateway and a robo, maybe 7 gateway and a robo, and he's accomplished taking out the 2 lemons. And he's allowed his opponent in the meantime to finish his tech up to medevacs very, very slowly and get his production going. So maybe a little bit of single-mindedness from HuK here.
Yeah, if he loses this game, I think HuK's going to be a little bit sour.
Well played.
I'm sorry.
And they are going to fight over the lemon.
You know, it almost makes me feel like that they really had some kind of side bet going on before this happened. The lemon is in the center of the fight right here, and the force fields go down, and uncharacteristically sloppy force fields actually from HuK there. Not really able to nail too much with it, but he does protect his stake on the lemon here.
That is an awful lot of Protoss units, but with 4 medevacs out and +1 upgrades finished, equal upgrades, but for a Terran, that's a little bit bigger a deal early on here. I don't know, they both have to be very careful about engaging here. It's all going to come down to the force fields. They both have kill potential. And HuK is looking, he does drop the 3rd Nexus, but he's continuing to warp in units out here. It kind of looks like he wants to fight, which is not really surprising at all because he is HuK.
Yeah, indeed. HuK is an aggro player, ridiculously so. He is putting down a 3rd Nexus, which is not necessarily what you expect to see from HuK, but force fields go down, and it's a decent one, but the problem with those charging Zealots is they ran face first into the force fields, and he lost a couple in doing that. That's just kind of the risk of it. There's a factory that's scouted that 3rd Nexus right now, and I believe has... Oh, yes, he did.
He warped in a big round of Zealots to, like, kind of flank this army.
Yeah.
The Muslim smells it out and retreats him just in time, though.
Indeed.
It was almost cute.
Yep. In the meantime, HuK managed to successfully mine the other melon, so he got that 1,000 mineral advantage over his opponent. I think he's accomplished his goal now, but now he needs to try and actually win the game, because he hasn't killed his opponent. DeMusliM is now on 3 bases and mining, and this 3rd base is not complete yet for HuK, who has been sitting on 8 gates, not really going for the economical approach.
Yeah, he's just now getting both Templar and Colossus tech up here. And I don't know, this is going to be kind of dangerous. So DeMusliM just finished 1-1. There's no AoE in sight just yet for HuK. He does have that big army. Actually, that's a lot of units. DeMusliM have to be really careful not to get force field here.
Oh, that didn't happen, did it? But a nice little evacuation from DeMusliM for most of it. The Zealots come in and try and deal with this, although some damage is being dealt to the front here. And actually, HuK ended up losing quite a lot in that fight, to the point where the supply advantage is pretty clearly in favor of DeMusliM. 86 army supply to 67.
Yeah, this is the problem with HuK's style. If he doesn't actually manage to get anything done early on with his aggression, normally he does, so he kind of sticks with it. His AoE is so late. He has no Templar, no Colossus, not even Colossus in production. It's just really hard to deal with Bio as Protoss without that. It's nearly impossible. As long as you're equipped with the medevac pickups, getting out of force fields, as we saw DeMusliM very clearly is, it's just really hard to actually engage. And those charger slots look great until they all die.
Yeah, pretty much. They just run into a wall of bullets, which is not that good. The Archons are coming in from the side here. Time Warp is in there as well. Decent concave with a nice little Zealot flank here. Force fields are now going down. He does force his opponent back. That was a pretty damn good fight there for HuK.
Yeah, those Archons kicking in just at the end there, helping him clean up some Marines, and a big time stop, actually. Just really holding him in place for a big part of that. And DeMusliM kind of forcing the issue a little bit. He felt like he had a bigger advantage.
Oh, that was a mistake there by HuK, and he's not able to get the force fields down to protect those Immortals.
That was really bad. But Immortals don't actually do anything at this point in the game. They're just kind of fodder for the Marines. So, not horrible, but obviously pretty bad. The 4th CC coming down for DeMusliM, and now he's kind of getting into the swing of things. This is where he likes to be. He likes to be expanding everywhere, just big macro kicking in, and constant attacks all over. Not really dropping anything. Drops would be very powerful right now. HuK is not set up at all to deal with him. But DeMusliM getting a little bit single-minded. He feels like he has the advantage. He kind of just wants to go in for the kill. I think he's just going to keep attacking until he finishes HuK off. But first Colossus is out.
Yep, and no extended thermal lance on it, which is a bit risky, and that's going to die pretty much immediately just before extended thermal lance finishes. But again, good force fields, good use of the time warp there. A warp into the side with Zealots as well seems to be working pretty well for HuK, but I mean, the supply advantage is still way in favor of DeMusliM. I think he's now going to finally crash his way through here.
Yeah, it does look like it. More reinforcements streaming in. Nice try with the Zealot warp in, but he really needed to swing more of his army around to actually try and flank that. He was fighting in a bottleneck the whole time. Against Bio, that doesn't help. Losing the Colossus right as thermal lance finish did not either.
No, it did not. And the 2 Marauders coming from the side, and that's going to be the GG. Unfortunately, his pick of Fruitland did not work out for him. And that leaves HuK feeling just a little bit bitter. So let's make it happen. Game 2 is going to be on Bel'Shir Vestige.
Bel'Shir, a map where I could definitely see HuK just kind of all-inning. It looked like he wanted to go for an Immortal all-in that previous game. I think Bel'Shir would be an even better map for that. You have a very open, very flat natural that can definitely be taken advantage of there. And I don't know. That was. I really think we joked about it, but I really think the Lemons might have gotten into his head there. He was playing an early mid-game kind of build. He needed to be putting pressure on his opponent, if nothing else. And he went around securing 1,000 minerals with it instead. 1,000 minerals, really, in the grand scheme of things, is not that much when you're committing that much to an early mid-game attack. I think it kind of messed him up there.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right. It is really strange that that would happen. But Fruitland is not something that generally gets played in foreign tournaments ever, because it is actually, that variant in particular is actually a GOM TV map, and they donated the map to us so that we could use it with GameHeart. It's otherwise a locked map for GOM only, but they let us play it, and they said good luck with the tournament. So thank you very much to GOM EXP. I'm not going to get used to calling GOM EXP. That's...
No. And HuK actually says lemons ended up causing
causing me game.
He meant it in a different way. Yeah, you can't. It's HuK.
Words.
What he says.
Words.
Words
yeah.
are hard.
Yeah.
Words are harder than Protoss.
He is pretty much the only foreigner I know that speaks English worse than most of the Korean players do. And it's almost like he does it on purpose. He started doing it when he was over in Korea. He'd speak this weird Konglish kind of Twitter style, and he never stopped doing that.
I'm not sure if it's the typing or what, because it's not like he has typos. He just says the wrong words. But if you talk to him in person, he's like not special or anything. He knows how to talk. So I really don't understand it.
You heard it first. HuK is not special. Oh dear. Alright, well, let's get into it, shall we? Bel'Shir Vestige is, of course, the venue for this particular encounter. And we have the Scarecrow, aka EG.HuK, in the northwest position as the yellow Protoss versus his opponent in the blue trunks, all the way from merry old Blighty. Currently at 1 game in this best-of-5 series against his teammate. It is EG.DeMusliM.
And he's going for a quick gas again, almost certainly for that Reaper Scout.
Yep.
Pretty standard opening TVP, and against HuK, you really want to know what's going on early on. He actually had a Marine queued up and canceled it, and then the Reaper comes out, so probably just muscle memory there.
Yeah.
Seeing the barracks finish and starting up that Marine.
Yeah, I'd certainly imagine so. The Reaper certainly proved to be very, very useful. Isn't necessarily, considering that you'll see early mothership cores out, maybe a Stalker, which shuts it down quite nicely, but doesn't necessarily kill it, it just scares it away. So there are moments when you can get back into the base, and it was actually surprising. Oh, he's just making this worse now. Well, he did. He made a lot of Zealots. Didn't really help him all that much, but he did make a hell of a lot of Zealots in that game. I'll give him credit for that.
That he did. Another Stalker coming out to help clear this. He is chrono boosting it, so pretty much the exact same openings from both of them.
Yeah.
As the previous game. I'd be really surprised if DeMusliM went for that 3-Rex play again, though. Although it looks like he's about to queue up another barracks, so maybe.
Nice little sneaky maneuver there by DeMusliM to use the SCV to draw out the Reaper so the damage could be done there. But the Stalker's going to be there, and this might as well be last game because the exact same thing is happening. Although I think DeMusliM did slightly less damage to the Zealot. Not that that's ultimately going to matter.
No. Although no second Stalker coming out from HuK, so I think that's actually the first deviation. Oh, and it looks like he's about to... It looks like he was thinking about dropping a building in the back of his base. He had a probe queued up back there, but he does not, in fact. It looks like he is going down to eventually start up a Nexus.
Yep.
And there it goes.
That's exactly what it is. So far so normal. DeMusliM with a fairly early bunker here, and he is actually going to go for that building, but he wanted to put down his Nexus first. There's a Twilight Council now in the back of HuK space.
So we'll see DTs, and as much as HuK is touted as a cheesy player, I don't really see him open up DT too much PvT. He tends to be much more towards the Immortal and or Warp Gate all-in kind of builds where he can really rely on his force fields and unit control. DT isn't a control kind of all-in, it's a, well, you're going to be ready for it or you're not.
Oh, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, so not a whole lot he can do. He's just kind of hoping that DeMusliM doesn't scout it, and then he manages to get enough damage done to make it worthwhile.
That Zealot is supremely lucky by
Oh, no, it's going to be a Blink Rush.
Oh, okay.
Instead. And this is actually quite a good build. Now, well, we say now, it's been around since the beginning of Heart of the Storm, but with the Mothership Core, Blink no longer just a gimmicky all-in as it was in Wings of Liberty. With that additional vision, very easy to get up into the main of your opponent and do at least some guaranteed harass damage no matter what. So, with good control, and, you know, HuK does have top 3 control.
Yeah.
It's almost guaranteed to do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, this is actually very Alicia-esque, something that he really, really likes to do, and he's done it to great effect. I know HuK certainly likes Alicia's playstyle, and they stayed together an awful lot in the Slayer's house. Apparently, Alicia was the heaviest drinker of anyone in the Slayer's house, outside of Boxer, of course.
Until JYP came there. JYP is actually like, I don't know, he's not human or something.
Oh, really?
He's a pretty big guy for a Korean. But it's just absolutely absurd. Literally drink all night and just be absolutely the same person. No effects at all.
It's good to see JYP back in the scene, actually. His performance at DreamHack was pretty damn good.
And it was, right up until he lost. It's really weird when you see that happen. A player has just an amazing tournament, and then they lose in a really disappointing, kind of lopsided fashion.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It does happen from time to time.
Yeah. Oh, and a forward pylon drop down, and
Yep.
the Reaper from DeMusliM does scout it, so he knows something's coming. I don't believe he knows just what yet, though. I don't think he has scouted. Yeah, he has not scanned, so he does not know what exactly he's going to be facing just yet.
DeMusliM is actually heavily supply blocked right now. Shockingly so, by the looks of it. There we go. He's actually got his supply depot sorted out there. DeMusliM is lifting his base, and he's just abandoning the natural entirely at this point, going right back into the main here, because he knows that Blink is on its way.
I'm not sure if that's an overreaction or not. He does have 2 racks running. He has Stim about to finish. I don't know if that's absolutely necessary. I think he might think this is like a one-base, very dedicated Blink Stalker all in. But actually, with the Nexus already down, third and fourth gases coming up, Forge coming up,
Yeah.
HuK is pretty comfortable transitioning into the mid-game off of this. He already has that Twilight Cancel up if he wants to get charged. He has the Robo finished as well. So I think DeMusliM panicked a little bit here. And that's what happens when you play against someone like HuK. His reputation precedes him. You know he's capable of doing silly all-in, and that he likes to be very aggressive. So you kind of just expect it to happen. And then he's actually kind of playing a macro game, and you end up giving yourself a disadvantage.
Yeah, well, at this point, the Stalkers really haven't done physically all that much, but they did force that massive reaction there from DeMusliM. So they really killed nothing but a refinery, but they have killed the mining potential of the Terran player significantly. As you can see, this is heavily oversaturated. This main is going to mine out very quickly. It's doubly the case because not only does he have too many SCVs, but he's also muling it. So this main is going to mine out very fast, which is going to leave some limited options there. But there is Stim available, and that's going to chase that back. So this command center will be put down once again. But in the meantime, we see HuK going for a Colossus-based build. He actually started his Colossus, I think, before any real upgrades.
Yes, I believe he did. He still hasn't gotten anything out of the Twilight. I mean, aside from the Blink, he hasn't gotten a Charge Light upgrade.
Yeah.
And he started the +1 weapons after going to Colossus Tech. And Thermal Lance just now starting, so he really wanted to get that Colossus out. And that's pretty smart, because DeMusliM was pulling back, just saving up his units, so he's going to have a big army. You really need to have that Colossus out as quickly as possible to defend any possible counterattack from DeMusliM here. So good, smart play from HuK, and he's not going to have the same problem he ran into last game. He has that AoE, he has the Colossus coming out nice and early, so he's going to be able to deal with that bio. And he's adding more gateways, so he could be looking for a 2-base Colossus all in here. No Viking production at all yet from DeMusliM, so that could be quite effective.
And back he goes. Just trying to maintain some map control, but he doesn't really want to be out on the map too much with these Stalkers. The Stim is there, but he is kind of baiting out full Stims here from this biome. There are only 3 medevacs on fairly low energy, so that might not be too good an idea, but DeMusliM just wants to actually kill him. He doesn't... I mean, he can't, though. That's not going to happen. He could deny a third, but there's no sign of a third being taken. Against a planetary Nexus and a Colossus and a fairly equal army count, there's no way that Terran is going to do anything.
Absolutely not. Protoss can get away with being far greedier than HuK is in the early game and still survive due to spell usage. But when you already have a couple of Colossus out... Oh, and he actually blinks in, picks off a medevac.
That was nice,
Things are going much, much better for HuK this game thus far. And DeMusliM actually going for a 3rd command center, so if HuK does decide to go for the 2-base Colossus all in here, which is still looking like he may, this could be really, really hard to hold off. Still no Vikings yet. I imagine he has to start production now, but still none on the field and already almost 3 Colossus for HuK.
Yeah, but DeMusliM's kind of playing in the dark at this point. His information is very, very out of date indeed, and he doesn't seem to know exactly what is going on. Still no... there we go. First Viking has now begun, but not too many. And 3 Colossus already out. I mean, Warp Prism on the way, that's pretty much time for him to go.
Yeah, and the lack of Vikings mean that HuK is pretty comfortable with just his existing Stalker count. He's going to be able to, and he already has the Charge Light upgrade coming, so he can just continue to warp in the Zealots instead of having to get more Stalkers to defend his Colossus. That's going to make this attack infinitely more powerful. And DeMusliM does have the 1-1 upgrades, that's nice, but HuK may have +2, depending on how long he waits here. So upgrades really not going to save DeMusliM here. Army count pretty heavily in HuK's favor. This is going to be really tough for DeMusliM to hold off.
It's actually a bit of a mistake from Ben as well, because he didn't take the Xel'Naga Watchtower that he was standing right next to, and he could have maybe seen the edge of that attack coming in. As it stands, the scan goes down and does not spot the main force. They're going to charge right into that.
Yeah, that's a little bit nice from HuK, a little bit lucky. Just smart of him to keep it back and keep it hidden, but also just outside of scan range. Pretty unlucky for DeMusliM. No bunkers at all here. One Viking out on the field. Two more coming out.
I mean,
three now.
This is going to take some kind of miracle or just amazing play, I think, from DeMusliM to hold it. The army supply is just absurd. 93 to 67. And with the Colossus there, and as you said, only 3 Vikings now, but about to be 5. HuK may just decide to hang on and take a third base. He has denied the third, but he is definitely in a kill position.
Yeah, he absolutely. There's no reason not to. If he knew what DeMusliM had, he would just laugh and press 1A and win the game. He seems to be a little bit unaware, playing a little bit timid.
He's
now
about to find out.
Oh.
Loses a Stalker, but he does see the entire army, so that is an opportunity, I think, for HuK if he wants to take it. And Guardian Shield is up, and here he goes. There's the blink around, and at the moment, DeMusliM does not want to be anywhere near that. He's going to have to be, though. He's taking some damage already, and these Colossus now moving in, and he's sandwiched the army. Well, I say sandwich, he's in the middle of the sandwich, but he's cut off reinforcements there, puts down the force fields to make sure that happens, forces the fight. DeMusliM is getting decimated here. GG. Certainly seems to be the way. All right, folks, Yonsu is on its way. Game 3 of DeMusliM versus HuK. One of these will advance to face the winner tomorrow of Hitman versus Scarlet. As we said, we'll be delaying the Scarlet match until tomorrow to give Scarlet a chance to rest and recuperate, and she'll be traveling to the Acer house, so she'll be able to play from there rather than having to kind of play in the practice room of the NorthCon, which is non-ideal. You know, no one really wants to do that. So we're just going to make it a little bit easier for everybody. It also means that the Europeans will miss less. We'll be starting tomorrow at 12 midday EST. That's 5 in the British Isles, 6 p.m. in Europe. So that's a nice and easy time for you to watch the rest of ShoutCraft America Winter, brought to you by Ting.com. All right, Yonsu, picked by DeMusliM. What do you expect here?
It's hard to say because he's played the two ends of the spectrum. Well, both obviously were just Reaper expansion. That's pretty much the go-to TVP unless you're going for some kind of very, very quick meta harass. And even then, sometimes you can build into it. But the initial game, he went a very quick 3 racks pressure, which is very, very non-standard. Don't really see that too much. And then last game, he went for completely standard, very passive macro play. Very scared passive macro play. And then HuK, both games, putting on some pressure early on, but not really all-inning. Both games just building up for a 2-base army and looking to attack if the opportunity presented itself, but not really forcing it, which is kind of a bit of a development we've seen from HuK. He used to be just kind of, I'm gonna do my 2-base, I'm gonna attack, and I'm gonna kill him. But now he's actually really thinking it through and actually making some decisions there. So definitely much better from him. Worked out for him last game. Not so much the first game, but that one we can blame on the lemons. So not really too much to say about that.
When all else fails, blame it on the lemons. To the northeast position, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue trunks, playing Terran. He's currently tied up 1 apiece with his teammate here. He is EG.DeMusliM. Versus his opponent to the southwest position. In the yellow trunks, playing Protoss. The Scarecrow himself, it is Mr. EG.HuK.
Quick double gas from him. Actually just completely identical builds to the last 2 games out of both of them. I haven't seen any real deviations until after the expansions went down in either game. Reaper will be coming. Actually, no, he went gas first this game, so this could be some kind of fast factory build, potentially. Almost definitely. Actually.
Yeah, he's going to be up to 100 gas when the barracks finishes, and it's also a little bit weird that he'd send out the SCV, I suppose, if he had a Reaper on the way.
Oh, and he's actually going to proxy the factory.
Ooh.
Not sure what he's going to do with this.
Widowmine, maybe?
Exactly. Probably quick Widow Mines. Not sure if he's going to go for a drop or just try and kind of run it in and hope that it slips by the defenses. And HuK hasn't really been scouting very thoroughly at all. He always sends out a probe early on to get down proximity pylons. He's very, very conscientious about that. That's actually, in my opinion, one of the best things about him as a player. He always makes sure he has the ability to warp in and harass based on that. But he's not really too careful about scouting early on. He's generally the aggressor. He's usually the one taking charge and doing something early on. However, this game he's going to see no Reaper, so that may tip him off a little bit, may send him out looking. And he does actually have his Zealot running around and scouting, but unfortunately it's on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah.
Not going to find the proxy anytime soon.
No, certainly not. And Starport straight in after that, and it will of course be initial Widowmine. This is a play that Alive was using an awful lot in the first season of WCS, and it was actually extremely effective against Protoss. Very, very annoying to deal with. So we'll see if he's able to actually get that Widowmine in with the expansion coming on here from HuK as well. This is pretty much an ideal scenario, I feel, for this Widowmine. I wonder what his plan with the Starport is, though.
Certainly going to drop it first, and then probably, I'm not really sure. The Zealot gets into the main from HuK. He sees nothing really. He sees the barracks, of course.
Yeah.
But with that Stalker and the Mothership Core there, he can take on these 4 Marines. So it's going to force some SCVs to be pulled. It's also going to give him pretty big scouting information, which is really, really big. It's going to tell him that something is up. Whether or not he can figure out that it's going to be a Widowmine drop, that's the next thing to see.
Well, first Widowmine is going in, and oh dear, the Stalker was on move command. It was not on attack move, and that means that Widowmine is getting all the way into the base, and HuK has pulled some probes here, and the shot is going to go off on only a single one. So that worked out pretty well for him. In the meantime, the army has been dealt with by DeMusliM. Not a huge number of workers killed, but he got 3, and there's a 4th one there as well. So it's a little bit of a weird situation where they both sort of attacked each other and nothing really happened.
Yeah, HuK did kind of panic a bit and really just lost track of his army as he was trying to defend that Widowmine. Actually ended up losing the Mothership Core, which really shouldn't have happened. The Stalker as well, also really... Oh, no, the Stalker escaped, but losing the Zealot and the Mothership Core. The Mothership Core is a pretty big loss. It's a big aid defensively. And DeMusliM is in a position to put on quite a bit of pressure because that Widowmine gives him control over the choke, so he can just run in and pound on the Nexus with his Marines.
Yep,
but Observer comes out.
Yep, just at the right time there. A couple of Widowmines have been deployed. And, oh, that was a nice little move by HuK. He knew that was going to die, so he decided to do as much damage with it as possible. But DeMusliM actually picked up in the medevac, realizing what was happening to avoid damage to his Marines. That was slick.
There was. Oh, and he's actually... I don't know about that one. The first one was a good move because, as you said, the Stalker was going to die no matter what. But there, that was just kind of a waste of a Stalker. Would have been better for him to just control it, keep everything alive. Does take out the medevac, but he's going to lose... he does take out the medevac, but he might lose his Mothership Core as well.
And he doesn't.
Oh.
Wow, that was pretty good, actually, from HuK. I gotta say, that was some nice control, and at the end of the day, those Widowmines did very little. 4 workers are being killed by HuK, only a single worker killed by DeMusliM. So, I mean, the Widowmines obviously kind of ended up trading for a Stalker each for the most part, but the medevac died, and now these buildings are gradually making their way back across the map, and of course no production is coming from them. Additional barracks are being put into play, and HuK's saying, oh, right, okay, I've dealt with that, now it's time to take map control against the grand total of 3 Marines that you have.
And HuK actually already has a Robo and 4 gateways running. He doesn't really have enough probes to support all of that, so it's not as scary as it sounds, but he has a lot of production here. And he already has 2 probes out, dropping pylons, looking for the opportunity to attack. I think he might have it, and DeMusliM actually canceled a building. I'm not sure what it was, but that's never a good sign. And Stim just now started, Starport just landing, so no medevacs or tech immediately. Medevac does start up. But HuK's going to start putting on pressure before then. With only 3 Marines, he might just kind of die here.
Yeah, he's producing another 3. He's now back up to 9. The bunker just dies immediately. There's no even effort to repair that. And control of the ramp might very well end up being ceded here. I mean, this could actually just be game over. And it is.